It's never fair to compare one city to another. Some have things that make it unique that may not be for everyone. Cities are full of many of these nuances, but to my pleasant surprise, one made me feel like I was back home in ways I didn't expect. In today's video, I want to tell you about the incredible city of Sarajevo, located in Bosnia Herzegovina, and why it had quite literally everything I can ask for, plus more. Representing the capital city of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Sarajevo is a melting pot of different religions and cultures, and at every step, it's as clear as day to see. You may find yourself walking and be greeted with a family heading for prayer at the Gaza Husrev-beg Mosque, the country's largest for the ever-expanding Islamic community here. Walk a little further, and you'll see people enjoying some traditional Bosnian food, in the form of Bureks and other forms of stuffed pie meals. There's also a reality of a not so distant past where peace was seldomly found via shelling markings on older buildings from the Bosnian War in the mid-1990s. However, walking around today, you'll see a city for all that it's been through is thriving with people visiting from all over the world, but surprisingly, still unknown to many. But for people looking to stay here for an upcoming trip, accommodation was rarely expensive and nightly stays ranged from $15 and up per night, with deals to be had if you decide to extend your stay a few days longer. It was common to book through popular apps such as booking.com, but then work out a deal on a pinch for an additional few days off platform to be paid for in cash. So those looking to save additional money may be wise to keep this in mind as well. One of the things I loved so much about Sarajevo was just the variety of things to do. If you're in the mood to try different types of food, there are always many options to choose from. If you wanted to take advantage of the walkability in nature here, hikes were also a fun way to get outside of the city center. Shopping is not something I speak to often, but if you're interested in clothes, books, or anything in between, it was always within walking distance, given that you're near the city center or Old Town Square region of Sarajevo. Walking tours are generally a go-to for me, and thankfully there were plenty to choose from here as well. Depending who your guide is, with so much history taking place here in Sarajevo, and not always of the positive kind, it was fascinating to hear the perspectives of locals that may have lived through some of these events in some capacity, but choose to remain positive of what's ahead versus dwell on the past. Needless to say, if you're looking for ways to stay busy here, you'll rarely have trouble finding things to do. If one is looking for ways to get around, I was also impressed with the options available. You have the staples of cars, taxis, and bicycles, but it was also common to see people commute via scooters, trains, and my favorite mode of transportation, walking. This isn't always a given depending where you are in the world, but the infrastructure of clean sidewalks, traffic and walk lights, and well-lit streets made this my preferred way to explore, and it may be yours as well. Being this is a capital city, credit cards were generally accepted at most locations, but cash in the form of the Bosnian mark will likely be the easiest form of payment used during your visit. Touching on this earlier, but diversity was another factor that surprised me so much. Not for any reason isolated to Sarajevo, but the diversity of people, whether it was religion, ethnicity, or age, mixed with just how everyone was able to coexist so effortlessly, was what reminded me of my hometown of Queens in New York City. Also, like NYC, I was impressed time and time again of all the food options available. Not only was food delicious, but the costs of food were accessible to people of all budgets. A dish of food could be as low as $2 to $3, but this never meant the quality was questionable. Cafes and bakeries were also always available too, which for anyone with a slight caffeine addiction like myself, this was more than appreciated. When it came to safety, although I never felt uneasy walking around, it's still best to keep belongings close by and be aware of your surroundings. Most friendly faces were just that, but it's still always good to be cautious wherever you are, just in case intentions aren't as clear. This was a very challenging video to put together, as I had to digest my love for Sarajevo in just a few minutes, but could have easily kept going. The grittiness on the surface of the city could potentially put people off. Considering what Sarajevo has gone through, it's amazing to see what it's become. This is a city that even months removed from visiting, I keep in my thoughts. It's not only one of my favorite places I've ever visited, but a city I can wholeheartedly call home one day, or at least hope to. I loved my time in Sarajevo, and I hope this video showed why.